and I welcome all the participants. Very good afternoon to all. Just make sure once that the slides are visible and I'm
Yes,
audible to
ma'am.
you.
Yes, ma'am. All
Okay,
fine, ma'am.
thank you so much. So, welcome all the participants. As you all know, today we all have gathered here, and the session is on the leadership skill, and not only leadership skill, but leadership skills specifically for the teachers. So, first, we will try to understand what does it mean by a leader and what is the role of leader in one's life, in professional and the personal life, and then we will switch to the role of teacher leadership. So we when we say leadership, I mean, I before starting or beginning this session, today's session, I was thinking about Lord Krishna. And yes, it is Lord Krishna who has taught us so much about leadership, because he was the man who, or he was a man or God or a supreme power, supreme authority, the way we take him. And he had the potential, a lot of potential in him, but then he utilized that potential in the right direction in his life. And he did a lot of good work, and benevolent things were done by him, and still we are blessed by the kind of vibrations and energy we receive from him. So the meaning is that we have learned so much, and we can learn so much from Lord Krishna regarding leadership. And in this context, we may say that a leader is the one who thinks and acts beyond himself or herself. Now, what does it mean by beyond herself or himself? Beyond herself or himself means not only thinking about himself or herself, but thinking in the broad spectrum, taking and looking at the things in the larger frame, and then developing his own perspective in such a way that the one is not, or one who is a leader is not only inclined to prepare and to make the followers, but actually to make the leaders along with him. So that is the, I think, the very good definition, and with this we can understand what is the meaning of leadership. So without wasting time, I'll switch and I will move forward with this presentation. And in this very first slide, you can see different roles are mentioned. As you all know, that we all people have different roles in our life, the professional roles, personal roles, and the the variety of roles in internal as well as the external life. So because this is a very formal session, so I will not be discussing about the internal and the personal roles of a leader, but then I would be sticking myself to the external roles which are being played by one person in his or her life. So here what is mentioned, we can see that you have a responsibility towards your school, college, organization, and even the society, and you have some set benchmarks to be followed. So these are considered, and these come under the umbrella of external roles. And there comes the definition or the role of a leader. So definitely in our personal and the informal life, we have still the role of, we play the role of a leader. But when it comes to the external life or the professional life, it becomes more prominent. In this particular picture or the slide, you can see different pictures, different images of different leaders, and we all know who are they and why they are known to us. And because this is 1 hour session, so I cannot discuss so much about these personalities, but we know so much about them, that what was the how Mahatma Gandhi played a role of leader, then Abraham Lincoln and Steve Jobs and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and still we take these people as the benchmarks, the iconic, and the role model for us to be followed in our future life. So here I had taken, you people, please give me a minute because the power has just come, so I will have to connect. Otherwise, this particular session, I don't think that my laptop will support me. Just give me a minute. Yes. So we were talking about, am I audible, please, ma'am? Make sure
Yes,
once.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We were talking about different leaders, and then we don't have that much space in our one slide so that we can cover all the leaders of the entire world and the globe, but still we can talk about some of them. And one figure which always inspired me personally as a leader, he is none other than Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So here I'm going to recite a few lines by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, that I climbed and climbed, where is the peak, my lord? I plow and plow, where is the knowledge treasure, my lord? I sailed and sailed. Where is the island of peace, my Lord? Almighty, bless my nation with vision and sweat resulting into happiness. So, what I initially mentioned about the definition of a leader or leadership, that one who acts beyond himself. So this man, APJ Abdul Kalam, he taught us, I mean, when we look at his life, in what kind of the family he was born, and how did he perceive his life, and how did he climb, to success and different ladders of his life without getting any kind of resourceful life. And then full devotion he gave to his nation, to his country, to the people of his country, to the youth of his country. And still his words are ephemeral because they inspire the nation, youth of the nation, not in, in the micro, but at the macro as well as the micro level. So APJ Abdul Kalam has taught us in these lines also, we can see his devotion to his nation. So he was not an individualistic. He was always, he was not an individualistic. He was always, he had a bigger frame in his life, and a larger frame was there. And he always used to think about his country, and all the aspects, whether he, his academics, his, we can say, the political ideas, ideologies, and his personal ideologies, and his hard working, everything, sets the benchmark for a great leader. Why we call him a great leader, let us understand in one line, because we learn so much from him. And a great leader is always timeless. Let us please keep this in mind, that a great leader is really a timeless person, because when he was alive, he was inspiring people, and when he's no more with us, his spirit, his words, his deeds, his actions, what he did, and how he had the inclusive approach in his life, that still, gives us, paves the way, pathway for our future, and teaching us so much about uh, the traits of good leadership. So in this line, we can see and we can learn about what are the traits of leadership in a good leader. Through this example of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, we have already understood, but then let us see what different traits are available with us of a good leader. So it is, I mean, a leader should be honest and sincere person. He should be caring for other people. I mean, it is not, as I said, he should have the inclusive approach. He should have honesty. Honesty is like, is the best policy we know, not only for the common beings, but for the leaders as well. So the sincerity, the honesty of one's personality makes him a leader. Caring for others, not only thinking about individual, not only thinking about himself or herself, but then taking all the people along with him. Then having, should be having the logical reasoning, take ownership. I mean, the person should be accountable to all the deeds which are done by him. So it is not that, someone who leads only for the money profit, someone who leads only for the other kinds of profits. So profit is for the masses. Profit is not there for the individuals, but this profit which is there in the mind of the leader, it is always for the masses. So he should be, I mean, strong enough to take the ownership and accountability of all the works done by him. It is not that when something good is done, the leader says, see, this is, I take the credit, and something bad is done, corrupted, or contaminated things happen, and things do not go in the right way, then the leader says, no, these works were done by my team members. So this is very wrong approach. So it is ownership thing. And then mental and physical health should be good of a leader. Empathy. Why mental and physical? Physical is always important, because without good physical health, even today I cannot take this session. You people cannot sit and listen to me in this session and see I forgot telling you people to come forward with your questions. Even please don't come forward with your questions only, come forward with your ideas and suggestions that what we may else do, some other things we should do as a leader, what we have learned, what is our takeaway from this session. So please be prepared by the end of the session. And so when I say mental and physical health, physical we know very important, but mental health is more than that. So why is it so important? Because someone who is leading, someone who is working as the part of a team and leading that team, whether it is a school, a college, an organization, or a company, a person should have the very first priority for that leader is to have the good mental well-being. Now, why good mental well-being? Otherwise, what will happen that if the team members do something wrong, the person will not be able to forgive. If someone does something, that leader will not be able to forget. So this forgetting the things and forgiving the things and giving, changing or molding the perception of himself about others and towards others, and then giving responsibility to the people for testing them, for making them accountable, for making them good leaders for the future. So it is not like, somebody who is like of 50 years old and he is having team members of all age groups. So what should be the priority of that leader? The priority of that leader should make the young ones, youth in the team, good leaders for the future. That's very important thing. It is not that, we have taken up one project, we have completed, our life goal is done, it is completed, and now rest of the things, like, the people just, it's about the public and it's up to the public. So we cannot have such approach. A leader is leading the team, leading himself, and then preparing good leaders for the future, and then leaving behind him great leaders. So that kind of a person actually comes in this category of good leader. Now, empathy is very important, because until unless we empathize with others, we always blame others, we complain others, and then wherever we have complaints, blame games, definitely no productivity, no growth. So empathy is very important. Self confidence, very important for the leader. Objectivity, yes, no subjective approach, no partial, but it should be objective approach. He should have good communication. He should be having the assertive approach, or the assertive nature. Then the technical competency is also important. He should be visionary enough to be an advanced leader, and should travel the unexplored path. That doesn't mean that a leader should be a traveler or he should be a voyager. It means the leader should just be able to look at the things which are not generally looked by the common people. So common people see what happens with them, but a leader sees what may happen with them. I think this is the bigger difference between a common person and a leader. And then managing failure, anybody can manage the success, but it is again a ironical statement which I am passing here, that anybody can manage the success. No, anybody cannot manage the success as well. But managing failure is very difficult, because just we start blaming others, we do not take up the accountability, and that way we fail, and we, somehow we make others also fail. So it is very important thing. Courageous in decision making, very important. Nobility in management, very important. The delegation and the kind of work distribution, centralization, what kind of the decisions, what situation deserves what decision. So it is completely up to the leader. Mean a team. So the team is everything for the leader. For leader, two things are important. One is the task and the other is the team. So it is a two square, and two square is very important for a leader. Approachable, yes, it is not that one is leader and he is disappeared for a long time. So people will be like, out of the blue, he would appear and take up the decision, and even, lead the people or lead the team members. So this will be a very unhealthy, I say, unhealthy approach. So what is a healthy approach? To be approachable for the team members. Then creative, very important. What is the definition of creativity? It means unleashing the things which are not actually opened up and seen and done by the common people. Again, so doing something differently, that is creativity, and that is the trait of a leader. Strong in process, very important. A leader should be strong in process, and he should be process oriented. So there are two approaches: process oriented, and the other is result oriented. So when we are result oriented, definitely we, for us, result is everything. And if the result is not produced, then the leader blames the other team members, or maybe sometimes exploit them, sometimes just embarrass them, so which is very unhealthy practice. So what is needed, that is, he should be process oriented. The process should be good, the process should be followed properly, everyone should be under the guidance, everyone should work under the guidance of the leader. So that process orientedness is very important for the leader. And forgiving, I have already talked about this. Now, these are also some advanced skills for the leadership. I'll be reading that because this is not very important for, this is important, but not actually the part of our presentation. Our class and our session is on the teacher leadership. So we will devote more time there. So it is time management, very important, delegation, what to delegate, what not to delegate, managing the conflict among the team members and among the other people, persuasiveness. Yes, I mean, people should follow you, people should believe in you, and how people and why people should believe you, there is the five step model which I am going to discuss with you all in this session. Negotiation, very important. Negotiation skills and the communication skills are very important for advanced leadership. Then giving autonomy and authorship. Autonomy and authorship means it is not that me, it is, I mean, the one man show. I can only do this. I am the one. I am the great. I am the supreme lord. No, this is a wrong approach. So, a leader, a good leader, is always one who believes in giving the autonomy and the authorship to other people. So, I mean, credit, giving, acknowledging their work, giving credit to them, appreciating them, and so these things are important. Now, show your passion. This is also very important. When you should be passionate enough, it is not that you have taken up some task only for completing that, but then you have a greater approach in your minds that you should be passionate. Explain the why. When people would be coming with lots of why. Yes, when you are leader, when you are doing something, when you are the director or directing people, then definitely people would be coming to you and they will ask why this is so, why this is. It doesn't mean they don't understand what kind of the process you have, but just that's a query in the common man, in a common team member. So you should always be in a state of explaining that why and help them develop. So a good leader is the one who develops himself as well as help others developing in their life. Now, these all have what the traits we have discussed of the leadership, I mean, the advanced leadership. So it means like when we calculate, when we learn, when we understand these, we find that we all are leaders. I think, right now, all those listening to me, and even I am who is speaking here, we all think that we are leaders because we have those traits. If we do not have completely those traits, then definitely some of the traits are there in our personality and we can count ourselves leaders, good leaders. But then the question arises that are we teacher leaders? Are we change makers? Are we the trend setters? So that question is a very good question, and then we should address this question in the coming up slides. Teachership or the teacher leadership is a term which which has recently been developed. So first we have to look at the definition part of teacher leadership, that the concept of leading and teaching are so intertwined that every leader is a teacher and every teacher is a leader. And the art of leading students is one of the greatest challenges faced by today's teacher. The process is intensified in a prison setting where the environment for blending leadership practices is complex. And these are the words of Hand and Penule given in the year 2013 for the concept, for making us understand the concept of teacher leadership. Now, there are some other words we can have. One more definition of York, Bach, and Duke in the year 2004, who said, teacher leadership is the process by which teachers, individually or collectively, influence their colleagues, principals, and other members of the school communities to improve teaching and learning practices with the aim of increased student learning and achievement. Now, with the second definition, here we can understand that who are the teacher leaders. We have understood, like teacher leader, when this term comes to our mind, the layman would understand that teacher who is teaching in the classroom, or teacher who is instructing the students in the classroom. So what we are doing by this particular concept, we are confining the role of a teacher leader in a classroom only. But it is not so. These days, you might have seen some of the teachers working in the nearby schools. Some of you might be teachers, I mean, working in schools, colleges, and at different places. So, you all have observed that one thing, that teacher is not only teaching in the classroom. So, that definition, the older definition, now it has changed that a teacher was teaching in the classroom and that teacher used to be called as a leader. No, a teacher is the one who is doing a lot more different things. So there are so many different roles, like, a person plays different roles, like role of I'm playing role of a daughter, daughter-in-law, a mother, wife, a teacher, a professor, like that. So, and a researcher. So in the same way, a teacher also plays several different roles, and that is like, teaching in the classroom, instructing the students, developing them, and along with the students, developing the institute, helping other teachers to grow, helping principal and the authority to take up decisions, even helping the society or the nation in nation building. So this is, I mean, a teacher has a greater role, and then there is n number of quotations available by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who mentioned, I mean, a very big role of teachers in not only in developing the students, but growing and developing the nation as well. Moving further, we can see the teacher leadership is actually a way of organizing learning. It is a way of understanding the connections between knowledge and practice. It is also a way of combining the explicit and the tacit ways of knowing, and a way of learning the skills, abilities, and capacities for developing and nurturing community among peers. It is also a way of negotiating the tensions between privacy and a new view of community. Now we can see here that the teacher leadership is situated in other conceptions of the leadership. So there are, we can, by segregating or by categorizing this big term of teacher leadership into the small terms, we can more easily understand it. So there are several different types of leadership, teacher leadership. And what are these? Like participative leadership, in which the teacher participates as a leader. Leadership as an organizational quality means working as a part of the organization. Distributive leadership means a leader who, who does the multiple task, not only the one task, but, or we can understand distributed leadership in some other way, by in some other form, by saying that the multiple tasks are distributed, and for the multiple tasks, multiple people are denoted as leaders. And then there is parallel leadership. It means this is basically a term which is used for describing the relationship between a teacher leader and the principal or the authority of the school or the institution. So now, in the words of York, Bach, and Duke, we can understand these all things by these lines, that the emergence of teacher leadership would seem to be more likely when these forms of leadership are present in the surrounding context of practice. Now, who are teacher leaders? We have already understood and discussed here in the class some of the traits. So very quickly, we are going to complete this slide by looking at, who are the teacher leaders, not only the leaders. Teacher leaders are those who can demonstrate and who have the capacity of demonstrating high levels of instructional expertise. I mean, teachers are instructors also. So they should have the higher level of instructional capacities and instructional expertise. They should be able to collaborate with other teachers, other team members, even, people who are there outside of the institution. Reflection, a sense of empowerment, competent enough, credible, okay, collaborative, as we have understood the term collaboration, and the model effective practices. So they should be in state of using the model effective practices. Now, what are these model effective practices? They are very important for developing not only the students, but the institute as well as the society. Now, these model effective practices, I remember one example for you people, that is action research. These days it is very popular, and action research is a term which we study under the research programs. We can see that it is the ongoing research, it is the practice based research, it is observational also, where teacher observes the students and make them, take part in some activities and evaluate through the rubrics, through some evaluation strategies, through the the summative or the formative examinations. So that these all things come under action research, and that is the part of your model effective practice, which is very important for developing students and the teacher as well. Now, mentor new and struggling teachers. Yes, a teacher, good leader is the one who mentors the struggling teachers in his life. He also conducts professional development activities. Yes, yeah, like this is one FTP program, so people are joining this. And there are the conveners of conferences, conveners of the seminars and such FDP programs. So they are teachers only, so they are teachers, but they are playing different roles of a convener of a conference, presenter in the seminar, and playing the role of a keynote speaker somewhere. Now, raise the level of collaboration in schools and lead school improvement efforts and advocate for the needs of students, and playing the role of becoming a role model for the other teachers and students as well. Now, there are several qualities mentioned here for good teacher leaders. Now, we will not be reading all these. You can read it because you will be getting this PPT. So these are similar. Some of them are repetitive also, what we have discussed till now in the session. So significant experience in their teaching fields, very important. I'm just telling you without reading these points that the qualities of teacher leader is like, they should be experienced enough in teaching, they should have good technical skills, they should be the instructors, they should be creative, confident, they should be accountable, hardworking, passionate about their work, should be expertise of their own subject, should be respectful about themselves and the other authorities and colleagues and the students, sensitive enough and sensitive towards the students, empathizing the other people, innovative also, empowerment, they should be empowered one. So all these are the qualities of teacher leaders. Now, here are also some of the, the research data which I have collected for you people, which also says about the role of teacher leader. That is the, ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Because last time there was some network problems. I'm checking it several times this time. Anyways,
No, it's fine today, ma'am. No.
okay. So the role of teacher leader is, in according to the, this person Zenmeyer and Muller in 2001, they described that three main facets are there of teacher leaders. That leadership of students or the other teachers, like they play the role of facilitator, coach, mentor, trainer, curriculum specialist, and keeping the school organized, right? And so these are several different three different facets they have given us. One is the role of facilitator, another is the you can say the operational, doing the operational task, and one more which is given here is the decision making or the partnership. So furthermore, if we take up the words of Harrison and Killian in 2007, we find that he also talked about different roles of teacher leaders, and these different roles are, I think, it's around 13 roles he talked about of teacher leaders. One is the resource provider, second is the instructional specialist, third is the curriculum specialist. These are quite similar to the, what Zenmeyer and Muller said previously. Curriculum specialist, classroom supporter, learning facilitator, mentor, school leader, data coach, catalyst for change, learner, shape the culture of their schools and improve student learning, influence practice among their peers. Now we see, I'm just stopping here for a minute and taking a pause and just trying to make you people understand that this is like previously when I was studying Indian knowledge system, and I found that previously they were acharyas, they were very specific teachers for the specific task. So, in Gurukul Paddhati, there are different roles. Teacher had the role of instructing the students, and one would be the sport teacher, one would be the teacher for the Shastras only. So, very specifically clarified and categorized roles were given to the teachers. But nowadays, with the advancement of technology, another thing, with the advancement of globalization, a teacher has not been stick to one particular role. Instead, a teacher has been given multiple role. He is the teacher, he is a facilitator, he is a mentor, instructor, and he is the authoritative or the accountable person for not only making students develop but also the development of other colleagues as well as the whole institute. Now, what ways we can have for developing the teacher leadership? So teacher leadership can be developed by, when we set aside for teachers to meet, to plan and discuss issues such as curriculum matters, developing school wide plans, leading study groups, organizing visits to other schools. So these are some of the ways. I mean, a teacher cannot be sent to the class and just like this is the chutti time, what I call it. I mean, this is the classes are over, and now the teacher has come out of the school and taken his pathway towards his home. So that's not the role of a teacher, but the teacher should be involved in the curriculum making program, in the development, I mean, some policy making program of the school or the college, in some kind of the visits, not only the, I mean, the visit of the other school, the other corporative world visits along with the students. And a teacher should also be given the role of, doing some refresher courses, which is, I think, which is already there, that the teacher has to do some refresher courses. He has to organize some seminar or the conference. So such type of the things, especially in higher education, develop the teachers and make them leaders. Now, yes, there are some other ways also, like being freed up from the teacher leadership task. Like this has been quite closely observed by all of us, that teachers are so much occupied with the or the student oriented activities, that they are unable to take part in the professional activities, and that somewhere stop them. Okay, so I think even in government schools or the colleges, there should be some criteria that the teachers should have to complete these kind of the research programs or the professional development programs organized by NEPs, NEP, UGC, like AICTE, and these governmental bodies are there. And some refresher courses, like these days we have SWAM platform, NPTEL is there, MOOC courses are there. So all these develop teachers as teachers and teacher leaders. So there are several other points which you can see later more. Now the teachers, the same slide is being continued here. We can see if there is something important to be taken up, that yes, this is really important, that they should provide leadership through their example of becoming lifelong learners. And they should be coming out of the comfort zone. So it is very important for the teachers, that teacher leaders, to come out, in any kind of the leader, to come out from the comfort zone and set the example as a good learner. So, I mean, like these days, let me share one thing with you, that we have some online platform, and there we discuss, this is just a discussion platform for English literature, right? So some of my colleagues are there, some of my friends are there, and we have a very open platform, and then we discuss there. So what do we discuss? We discuss our subject. We take, a lot of strength and a lot of enjoyment is there in discussing criticism and theories, Freud, Derrida, and I mean almost all the theorists and critics. So this is so interesting, and this gives us so much confidence and develops us in such a way that it is, I mean, we every day and every time I join that session, I find that, see, it is not to, I mean, there is no end of learning. There is no end of knowledge. So who says that someone has the degree of graduation, post graduation, PhD, and the other degrees, that people are knowledgeable enough? No, I don't agree with this. The knowledgeable person is the one who is a keen learner, who is the ongoing learner, who keeps himself in this with the spirit of learning, and that sets the inspiration for the other people, and that shows his leadership skill. This is again in continuity that, a teacher leader should understand that learning the culture is a critical part of the leadership. Go public with their understanding of students, strategize for student learning in the organization of curriculum, and pursue working with their peers despite sometimes negative responses. So yes, negative things and the criticism would always come. So it is not that just because of the criticism and escaping ourselves from criticism, we are saying no, we are not going to teach the students properly or help the colleagues in developing and progressing. Yes, negativity is the part of life, criticism is a part of life. Apart from that, we should be devoted to ourselves and to our leadership rules. So this much was there for teacher leadership. And now there are several questions which I have tried to cover in the coming up slides. So this one question is, my slide is not moving. Just a minute. Yeah, now it's moving. So why we need to focus on teacher leadership or this particular concept? So let us understand very quickly that why we should focus teacher leadership, because it benefits the employee participation. First of all, it benefits the employee or the teacher himself. Secondly, it benefits the employee participation, institution, and the students. It gives expertise about teaching and learning. It also gives the acknowledgement, opportunities, and rewards for the accomplished teachers. Now it also benefits to the students, as I have mentioned previously. Now, according to Harris and Ellenberg in 2003 and 2002 by Holden, they have described why we should adopt teacher leadership. So, according to them, I'm covering a few points that they operate the school as a professional learning community and the strong and measurable improvements in student learning. They also build professional skills and building capacity to keep the school progressing and the sustainable improvement in school and classroom. So this sustainability approach or the sustainability is very important term here. So anything which progresses, anything which grows, whether it is an individual or the entire institution or the other colleagues, is it sustainable or not? Any kind of the progress, growth, development, so it is always there. But nowadays we have seen that last few years the whole nation, the whole globe is working on the this concept of sustainability. So with teacher leadership goal also, we should see whether it is sustainable. I mean, the things which are being done by us, which are being led by the teachers, so are these sustainable or not? So this sustainable improvement and development is very important in terms of teacher leadership. Now the higher level of teacher performance and motivation. So what we are doing, actually we are doing why we should focus the teacher leadership. So definitely high level of teacher performance and motivation is there. Improved confidence of teachers in their own abilities is there, and the collaboration between teachers and transforming school as organizations and helping them to diminish teacher alienation. So very, I mean, these things are, I think we know, but then we are covering and revising these things point by point through this session or in this particular session. So a teacher also, I mean, this is also important that the leadership role, when we see that the improving the life chances of students in disadvantaged schools, I think this point we have not yet covered. That initially when I said inclusive approach of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, so this inclusive approach, this term is more applicable to the disadvantaged schools and the students. And for them, I mean, we call them Divyangjan, we call them disabled students and the disabled people. So who will be teaching them? Who will be able to teach them? Those who have the inclusive approach. Otherwise, this will be very irritating and frustrating to deal with such students. But then what makes them teach and develop them? I mean, the betterment of life or betterment of any spirit and soul is the first goal, should be the first goal of a teacher. So that also comes under this kind of leadership. And this keeps good teachers in the classroom, stop alienation of the teachers, benefit students, free principals from the unrealistic expectations. Now, there are some barriers in developing teacher leadership. So I'm covering these barriers. What are those barriers? Number one, which is given here, is egalitarian values among teachers may militate against any teacher presenting her himself as a leader. So what does it mean by the egalitarian values? Egalitarian values means treating everyone or all people equally. Now you would ask me, ma'am, treating everyone equally is a good thing. I mean, equality is justice for everyone. But then sometimes equality is not justice. Equality stops us to be leaders. Now we are like, when we say that there are five, let's say there are five teachers in a school, and we say that all these five teachers are like, they're alike. They don't have, I mean, they're not neither passionate nor enthusiastic for their work. Then what will happen? I mean, because we are treating them equally, we are not distributing the work, I mean, the leadership work to them, or we are not having faith in them. So what would happen? They will never come up as good leaders. So what is important? I mean, this some kind of healthy competition is important. Now he is good in this task, she is good in the other task. Okay, then we should choose them and we should utilize those resources by delegating the work or the task according to their capacities. Sorry. Now, being ostracized by their colleagues. If this is so, I mean, these are the barriers what we have been discussing right now. So being ostracized by the colleagues, yes, it happens. It usually happens in any organization when somebody is taking charge of something. Other people would always be coming up to pull their legs, and they would just tease them in a very friendly manner. That, or but it is in the other ways, it is ostracizing them. Why? Because they would say, you are the leader, take your charge, take your part, we are no one, you are more valued. So such things also stop and become barrier in teacher leadership. Now, loss of connectedness to peers when engaging in the teacher leadership. Somebody is playing the role of a leader, somebody is heading some committee, definitely the other colleagues will be sidelined, and then that fellow will be much ahead in the race, and the other people would be much behind him. So that will create a gap between them. Hesitant, yes, people are hesitant. This is the reason they are not, I mean, they are hesitant but not hostile. So what is needed? You should not be hesitant, but you should be little bit hostile. Hostile is a little negative term, but here it is used in the positive sense, that you should be hostile enough to take up this stance in your life and playing the role of leader. Top down management, very important. This hierarchy also plays their becomes a barrier in teacher leadership. Fear and uncertainty, yes, that is also barrier. Then selection of roles, lack of trust between staff, credibility with teacher colleagues, delineation of responsibilities between teachers and administrators, and finding the right structure. Now, what should be done by the leader for performing better? I mean, for the improvement of the whole system, that he should learn to trust the intellectual ability of students, practice information sharing with them, and monitor their performance from time to time. So that is needed for improving performance in the organization. Now, I said, or I promised you all, that I would be discussing the five-step model with you. So this five-step model teaches us so much about different types of leaders. So I mean, when you see this: position, permission, production, people development, and personhood. So these are the five steps of the this particular model. So number one is position. What happens here? People follow anybody, treat someone as a leader and follow someone because they have to. Second is permission. People follow because they want to follow, right? Third is, in the first, there is no willingness. Only because of the position you are following someone. Permission, some willingness to follow. Production, people follow you because what you have done for the organization. They have seen you working. They have learned from you. They have, gathered something from you, and they like you for your working style. And this is the reason. Productivity. You are a productive person, and this is the reason they follow you. Fourth number is people development. People usually follow you here in this stage because what you have done for them. What you have done, what you have for their own growth. And it is not that you yourself growing, but you are helping others also grow. And the last is personhood. That is, people follow because of people follow because of who you and what you represent. So all your representative qualities make them followers, and this is the reason, because of your personhood they follow you. So this is about the 5 different steps of this model, which says us that every time when people follow you, it doesn't mean that they are following you because of your qualities. Sometimes they follow you because of your position only. They salute your chair, not you. Now in the next slide we have some future leadership capabilities, how, what are the way forwards, how we may take up the things. So anybody who is a leader in an organization, in the corporate world or some other places, in a school or the college, they should have these capabilities, these qualities in them to be the future leaders. Like thinking global and acting local, very important. This is very important because there are, I still remember the quotation of one theorist, one writer, who said that, everything should be in your fist. These days everything is in our fist. I mean, we have internet, we have the technology, and everything is there in our fist. But still, if we act locally with that particular global thinking, that would be the development for our area, our school, our college, our locality. Cross cultural diversity, yes, we should know what is cross cultural diversity, and we should be respectful for other cultures. Technological savvy, very important. We need to be tech savvy, at least. I mean, we should be presentable, we should be able to connect with the things, connect with the world, with the masses. Building alliances and partnership, this is again important. I mean, it's in isolation and in separation you cannot work these days, so you should have good networking. Share leadership, this sharing leadership concept is very new, and which is very common these days. So it is not that there is one leader. So decentralization of the work is important here. For different tasks, different people are assigned according to their capacities, as I have discussed with you. And then there should be a learning agility in you. It means you should be a ongoing and a continuous learner in your life. Now, in the next few minutes, I would like to discuss with you all one case study. I think you would like it. This case study is about Mr. Rishi Sunak, and this name needs no introduction for us, because we know that he was the one who could reach to the position of Britain's Prime Minister after Boris Johnson. So this man doesn't require any, and then he is son-in-law of Mr. Narayan Murthy and Mrs. Sudha Murthy, and his husband of Akshita Murthy. We all know about his life history. Some background is there with us. So let us discuss, how this man inspires us to be leader. So feel good about yourself. I mean, when I was studying and reading about this man, I found that he's he has positive approach, positive attitude. And according to him, feeling, I mean, self love, self care, feeling good about yourself is very important to be a good leader, to be a good worker, at least also. Believing in yourself, in your dreams. He was a dreamer. Let me tell you about him, that his family belonged to India only, right? And long back they shifted to Africa, and then from Africa to UK, and there he studied. I mean, he is not from a very rich, very very wealthy family, very well off family, but still all his family members, his parents, and then he himself was a dreamer, and because of this he could become prime minister of the country like UK. Now, he believes in taking risk to make the dreams a reality. And we have just discussed, like, how he reached from a very, very normal boy's position to the position of a prime minister. Have a clear vision and mission. So one should be a visionary. One should know, what I'm going to do. So they were like, he was never inclined towards politics, but then he was an economist, and he when his wife Akshita Murthy, she observed his political spirit and this approach, she motivated him to be, I mean, in the field of politics, and then he pursued this field. So one should be visionary and should have a mission in life. Share your goal with the other people, very important. So when you have some goal, it is not that in your isolated manner, in very alienated way, you are sitting somewhere and thinking about that and following, pursuing that. That will never come true until unless you share the same goal with the other people. Be with your team and empower them. So this is also very very important thing. I mean, you should be a team member, then only you can be a leader. So if you empower your team, yourself, then people will start believing. So it is very, very difficult to believe in others. What I feel personally, that believing in ourselves is easy task. I can do this, I can do that, but then believing in other people. So if people can listen to you, if people can follow you, believe in you, by after seeing you for a long time, after seeing your approach, attitude, decision making, and several things, then I think you are a good leader. Now, make powerful and heart moving speeches. So, this is a picture of the first speech of Mr. Rishi Sunak after becoming Prime Minister of UK. And you can see here, I mean, the speech is available there on YouTube. You can listen to that, and it is really, really heart moving speech. Be a good listener and be open and creative in your approach. Very important. Collaborate and win the competitors. Another picture, another image is of Liz Truss, who was a good competitor of Mr. Rishi Sunak in the race of becoming a prime minister. So here, what this picture shows and teaches us, it teaches us one thing only, that I mean, he, though the race was very tough, difficult, I mean, there was a tough tie between these two, but he never had malice and the contaminated feelings for this lady. So that healthy competition, healthy competitors or competition spirit should be there. Be youthful, fit, and healthy. He was, I mean, he's very youthful, in his personal life. He plays football. He's the part of the other games also, and he loves watching these games. He loves playing these games. So this shows his youthfulness. So one should be youthful enough. Be proactive, don't react under pressure. What matters is what is inside you. So, pressure handling, energy handling, managing the stress, and not reacting actually, responding to the things, but not reacting, and coming up as the proactive spirit. So, these all are the traits of great leader, and Mr. Rishi Sunak's personality shows us these things very well. Never neglect your family, very important. That is your support system. So if you neglect them, the support system will break, and definitely you will have a lot of a big loss in life. So family is everything. Begin with the end in mind. So when you begin, it is like, the something which you have already churned in your mind, which you have already explored, which you have already researched in your mind. So begin with that idea. So, with this, I end this session by saying that knowing is knowing, doing is doing. Knowing and doing are two different things. So, keep smiling, keep winning, keep leading in your life. With this, all of you, God bless you and good luck. And if you have some questions, please come up with that. And if you have to add, you want to add something, because still this presentation is not complete. A lot more things can be taken up here, but with the paucity of time, with 1 hour, in such 1 hour sessions, we can cover this much only. So I invite all of you to add a few points from your side. Thank you.